Okay, let's get started today. So yeah, yesterday we finished this part. We finished talking about Vim. So it's a text editor, um, native to all of the Unix-like systems, and there's a lot of like hotkeys, commands or shortcuts within it that you can memorize. But we've talked about some of the basic ones, which can help you get started. So today we are going to talk more ways that we can work with data. And the first one that we are going to talk about is how we can compress and decompress data. So why is it important? Because if we are working with genetic data specifically, they are usually extremely large, hundreds of gigabytes. So without compressing, so it would be really hard and very time inefficient to transport them. To transfer them. So the command that we usually use is called gzip. So basically you add a G in front of the usual zip that we do on either Windows or Mac OS. So the G stands for GNU, so developed by this an organization. So to compress a file, we just need to use the command gzip plus the file name. And to decompress it, we can use gzip dash D. So D stands for decompress with the file name and also with the .gz ending. I think it's 1 second. I think it's still kind of. Okay, this one looks better. Okay, so can everyone try to run the example here? Just try to do gzip on the readme.md file and try to decompress the file that you just compressed. In the meantime, I will also, we can run seed example. Okay. Okay, just as a practice, maybe we can also try to run the ls-l command to see whether the size of the file changes after you compress it. Yeah.
Nothing to show. It's just weird.
How much does it? Oh, it's not a lot. Yeah, because it's already very small. Got it. Okay, so actually, so for decompressing, there's another command that can achieve the same goal, which is the one that I usually use. It's called gunzip. So it's gun unzip. So basically, it's works the same way as gzip-d, but it's just another command you can use to decompress. Yeah, you can also try that, but yeah, it's the same. Yeah, I like to use that because you don't need to throw in flags and it's more literal, I think, just by looking at the name of the command. Okay, the next command we're going to talk about is called another way that we can compress and decompress files is called this tar, TAR command. So the tar stands for tape archive. So it's used to create a compressed archive of files. And so it may look a little bit complicated, but usually these flags were kind of used as a set. So you like a fixed set. So you always use the reuse the same flags. So to do the compression, we just run the tar dash CZVF. So the C stands for create a new archive. The ZVF, so Z just means compress here, and V means verbose. So it will kind of show you what file is being compressed right now. And the F stands for to use a archive file. And the first argument here is the output, the name of the output file, so the name of the archived file. And the last part, the last argument, is the name of the input file. So to decompress, you just change the first C to X, which stands for extract. So basically, instead of creating a new archive, it will extract the file from existing archive. The argument here just stands for the one that you are decompressing. So this one, I think the way I like to see it is it's a little bit different from the gzip. The main purpose is not to shrink the size of the files, but putting a lot of files together and make it into a like archive or like a bin. So you can run this tar file on a folder with thousands of like generic data, say from the same project, like the same cohort, and it will be tar like gzipped, and then it will be shipped to you, and then you can extract those files out of it. Yeah, I think it's more like an archive than compressing. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not sure I understand what the point of the F flag is. Like what does it mean it's just like use archive file? Because like, or at least right now as I understand it, it already, for example, like in either example, let's say compress, right? Like it already says that it's gonna create a new archive. Cool, fantastic. So what does use archive file mean?
I think this tar, you can think of it that it can kind of perform two like tasks in two steps. Like the first one is it compress the file by using the gzip. The other one is to use the archive file to like put multiple files together and put it into one file. So like, so archive here means to make like multiple files into one file. Yeah, like bin them together, I would say. Yeah. So for example, this one, the file name here could be a folder which contains thousands of files. And at the end, you just have one file. And the tar here kind of like archive, and GZ indicates it's compressed.
Okay, yeah, that's the same. How does it like isn't
Yeah.
like for example, could you run said tar command without an S flag? I'm saying like isn't the creation of the archive file inherent to the command?
No, I
Unless
think
you're like explicitly extracting it. I don't know if I'm like making any sense.
I think the F is more essential than the C here. I think the C is the purpose is to create a new file. So not kind of replacing itself, I feel like. Yeah, but we can try to run it. Yeah, I mean, we can try to run it with the C and without the C and see the difference. I think the C is more on the side of creating a new file, and the F is like more important to like about archiving. Yeah, let's try to run this example here. So yeah, we can archive these TMP folders that we created yesterday, and we can decompress it. Yeah. Hmm? You didn't know which part? Okay. Yeah, because yeah, if you run ls right now, you see there's no readme files in your folder, right? But there is some base folders. Yeah, you need to go into that folder first before you can work with it. Yeah. The CD change directory, yeah, CD directory, yes. using and you can use type condition. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the keyboard layout. Okay. Okay. Now actually we need I think to run this. Oh, yes.
That folder.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Working on it.
Okay.
But I didn't have it, like, it didn't have like a folder, so like, I
Okay.
was doing it on the
Um,
by or.
Yeah, I forgot how we created TMP yesterday, but I think we just copied one folder and renamed it as TMP. I think that's what we did. But I mean, it doesn't matter how we create that folder. Yeah, we can use any folders. Any question so far? Okay. Yeah, I think usually we just use all of them. What without that? I think without.
Compressed data not returned. Use that.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess it's like.
Okay, so it's compressed but not right into it.
So
Yeah.
it's like it goes nowhere.
Yeah, it goes nowhere. Yeah, it's usually using a fixed set, so we don't really kind of like separate.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
because like, I just, you know, like when you just showed it to us like that, like I was like, well, this kind
Yeah.
of looks like it already currently
Yeah, yeah.
creates that archive, so like, what is the necessity of like adding a tag? But now I see, right, it compresses, but it's like, I don't know what to do with this.
I think
so,
probably we can leave out Z and V, but definitely C and F are needed now. Okay. Has everyone tried the example? No, we just one slash, the other one is the output. You can also use the out arrow to be using. Yeah, so that can be like the out. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so right now it goes from a folder to a file, and it's easier to transfer that.
It's okay, I think that's okay. But
Nice,
they-
yeah, that's great.
such a difference.
Yeah, you don't have that, you don't use that second, yeah, just the first one.
The first one, but
Yeah.
it's okay. And so to
That's
do
right.
this compress, we have to use the same command the way X
X instead of C, yes.
instead of.
Yeah, so to run that, it just. Yeah, so this would be the correct one. Yeah. Right.
I forgot.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, we are so used to using them. So it's take a while. You need to rerun the first one. I think it wasn't running correctly. You don't need the second guarantee there. Yeah. What? A little bit more. Yeah, this one and remove the second. Okay. Okay, now you got it, and then you can leave. Okay. Any questions? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because there's no second guarantee. Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, because you haven't you haven't created the TMP folder yet. So the second one is some existing files that you have. So you can use any folder as the input. Yeah, we can try day one. Yeah. Okay, so the reason that it failed is because this TMP folder is not there yet. Yeah, so you can use maybe day one or day one backup to test it. Yeah, you just yeah, use up arrow to use it. Remove this and put maybe day one or day one backup. Okay. Yeah, and you do ls, you will see that TNP. Yes, you have that TNP project. Yeah, and then you can also decompress it. Yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah. No, we're not compressing the TNP. We're compressing a folder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With the foundry.
Yes. So the second one is the input, so the file that you want to compress, and the first one is the output, so the file that's kind of coming out on your compressor. Yeah.
But mine works.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I see some people putting a second TMP here. So the TMP here is not related to this one. It's like output of the commands. Okay. And also I also see like someone has some confusion here. So these arguments, the file name, the bar.gz. So this is you can think of it, this part of the argument is related to the -czvf. And then the file name is kind of related to tar. So the last argument is the input. Yeah. And the first argument here is the output. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions here on this part? Yeah.
I was on the web for like 5 minutes.
Oh, I see. Okay, let me see. Oh, yeah, it should be a down beside that. And you're putting it on there. To stop there, you can run. Okay, yeah, that can force solving the. Oh, no, it's good. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so another important function that we're going to learn is how we can download and upload files from your local laptop to some cluster, so Hoffman 2 cluster in our case, or download data from Hoffman 2 to our own local system. So the command that we're going to use is called SCP, which stands for Secure File Copy. So CP is copy, right? We learned yesterday. So S just stands for secure. So like it uses an OpenSSH protocol here, and the syntax would be to do SCP, the name of the local file, the full path to the Hoffman 2 cluster, with a colon, and you supply the path, like where in the Hoffman 2 you want it to be copied to, like uploaded to. And to download, you do SCP with the address of the Hoffman 2, like your Hoffman 2 account, with a colon to the path, like the path to the file that you want to download, and the dot. So does anyone remember what dot means in Linux? What? the current directory. That's right. Yeah. So basically, you are downloading the file from Hoffman tool from this path to where you are at right now on your local computer. But you can change it out to anywhere on your own laptop. Yeah. So you not necessarily be the current directory. Yeah.
Okay, so I got the little dot, I think it said it like downloads it to like
your local laptop. Yeah.
Where do we find that folder? How do we know where it is? Is it just like?
You can run pwd and you know where you're at on your local computer.
Like it's like my computer is whatever command line.
Well, in your computer, so yeah, for example, you're using the Mac OS, right? So when you open, you're not. Okay, yeah, but even if you're on a Windows laptop and you use the mobile term to open up the terminal, right? So it's just a different view of the laptop file systems. You are still on your own laptop, right? So maybe you have like a download folder, right? So you can still navigate to the same download folder and edit files or download files into that download folder. And then you can also open up your download folder in your graphical user interface. And it's the same view. It's just one is using the view from the command line. The other one is view from your graphical interface. It's the same, yeah. Yeah, so basically, so maybe not thinking of downloading and uploading, you can just think of the SCP will move things or copy things from the first location to the second location. And depending on where, which one it is, then it's going to be upload or download, right? Yeah. Yeah, we can try to run these two examples on our own laptop. So just to note, okay, so so if you look at here, here it says add someone's MacBook Pro. So it means that we are not on Hoffman right now, right? To run this example, we exit the Hoffman tool cluster and we try to run it on our own laptop, like local environment. Yeah. People look a bit confused. Yeah, is it? So everyone's on Hoffman tool right now, right? Yeah, so let's exit Hoffman tool, log out, and then try to run it on your local environment, either mobile term or the terminal app. Yeah. Yeah, you can upload anything. You don't need to upload this README. You can create a file, just like your own file, and then upload it to your Hoffman tool account. And you can also retrieve some file from your own Hoffman tool account to your local computer. Yeah, remember we are working on the Unix-like system. So if we are working on the so if you are using a Mac OS, the commands on your Mac OS terminal will be the same as the one that we're using on Hoffman tool. And if you're using mobile term, the command will also be the same. Yeah.
You have to do this upload.
Yeah, upload, yeah.
But to do the upload, first you have to see your files that you are in your computer.
Yes, also, yeah. So you run
I
the
will please comment.
you run the command on your local. Yeah, so right now, yeah, so right now you're not on local, right? You're on Hoffman tool. You need to log out first. Remember the command to log out. The command is exit or log out, which exit, yeah, and then return. Okay, so now you're out. Okay, now you want to create like any files that you like. Oh no, you don't need that. Yeah. Yeah, so you have no file here, right? Yes. Create a file. Yeah, you can create. Yeah, you can do maybe partition file. Yeah, it's like the name that you like.
All the commands.
Yeah.
And which anyone that I can.
Yeah, like
I want.
yeah, give it a name that you like. Okay. Okay, and you can upload. Use the SCP command. The SCP. Yeah,
And these commands.
and that's SCP command, yes, SCP and the file name. Okay, and then your 512 address. Yeah, accounts with the colon.
Yeah.
So, I already have. UCLA, UCLA,
Yeah.
colon.
Now.
I think this will send it to. No, but usually no, actually, you need to, you need to put a colon. So this one, yeah. Yeah, no, this. Yeah, and the path, the path is, you can put the. Yeah.
Because the video.
Bio, yeah.
That's it.
No, I think that's enough. That's enough. And hit return. Yeah, and yeah, if you do it correctly, it will prompt you to enter the password, and you will enter the password. Okay, and it will show you the time. Yeah, and then you log in again. No, right now you are out. Right now you're on your local environment. You need to log back into your login. The SSH. Yeah. I think for this one, maybe one way that people can do it easily, more easily is you can utilize the tab functionality. So no matter in mobile terminal or terminal app, you can open up new tab, right? So in one tab, yeah, so in one tab, you can log on to Hoffman 2. And in the other app, in the other one, you can be on your local, right? The other one can be, so it's easier for you to see what's going on there. Okay, any questions? No? Any questions? So everyone was able to download and upload something between your local environment and the Hoffman 2 cluster. Yeah. Yeah, I do like maybe Alex, I do Alex, back to dial, and it's like the name of the okay. Yeah. What's up with it?
Yeah, it looks like.
Will you check the file size? Maybe it was loaded partially. That ls dash. Oh, it's 0. But what about the other one? I don't think it's 0. It's not 0. Okay, so you don't have access to the file. maybe can you create a new file and try it? Like just like using the touch. Yeah, using the file. And maybe try to upload this file to. Oh, you should put a new file first. Oh. So the first argument is the start of the password, like where it's originate. Yeah, like this. Yeah. Okay, I think this works. Maybe it's the one the mobile external that access just your files on your computer.
Okay, yeah.
But we can look into this in a break. This is we should look into this because if you want to work in the future, work on actual data, then you want to have access, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Let's get back to this. Oh, wait, are you talking about the other side, the one side before? Yeah. Are you talking about this one? CP, yeah, you should be on your local environment first. Or you can open up another terminal by getting this. Yeah, so you have two windows to work with. Yeah, so you can. Interesting. I think this happened to you before, like yesterday, right? You were able to open another one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Okay. I see. Yeah. On your laptop, you don't have access. I try. Yes. Yeah, you cannot open a local terminal. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you don't have access. Yeah. Okay. I think it's your computer is a bit restricted. Yeah, comment. Yes. Yes. Yeah, we start here. That's allowed, yeah. Try starting. I don't. Okay, now it's working. Now it's working. Okay. Okay. Now, yeah, now it's working. Okay, so you can like, yeah, create new files, upload and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a little restrictive before.
You know, I wanted to make
Yeah.
smartphone and then everything. This is testing this one. I wanted to, this is my computer running. I was wanting to do smooth, maybe this file,
Yeah.
but I entered this. And I'm getting,
Yeah, I think it's because the first you have the customer, right? Like, yeah, it's because you have space here, so you need to use that backslash
okay.
to kind of escape it. Yeah, and now you can open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's the way you kind of type in file name with
Okay.
space inside. Yeah,
And then now I can put it in the hot.
yeah. That's
Oh,
right,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, someone had a good question. So if in your file name you have like space inside, you need to use some special characters to escape it. But we'll touch upon it later. Yeah. Yeah, you need to know where you are at right now. See, right? So availability, right? So you're here, right? But this one is desktop. So you should go to desktop, right? Yeah, if you okay, if you go collaborate, right? And you need to go to desktop. Yeah, and okay. Yeah, so you upload the file from this path. SCP here and then put there. Yeah. Yeah, you need to put your password. You put your password. I think. Oh, you want download, then you put the top one first, and that one the second. Yeah. So the first one is the kind of the like the place that you want to download. Okay, like the original place of that file. The second place is where you want to go. Yeah. Yes, you want to download it to your local computer? Yeah, so you want to, so everything you do it on your local. So you do SCP here and your username. Yeah, your username. Yeah, username on and no, code. You put code first. Yeah, and intro to Unix, like where that file is where that is on yeah, intro to Unix. Yeah, and slash the file. Slash, yeah, slash the name of it. Yeah. Okay, space, lower case u, right? Yeah, lowercase u, small u. Okay, space, and dot, yeah, and return. Okay, return. Okay, input your password. You run ls right now? You run ls? You run ls right? Yes, you already have them. Yeah. It's, yeah. Yeah, can you run? Can you run PWD? You will your element? Yeah. No. Just PWD, yeah. Return. Okay, home. Okay, so you go there. Well, I think it's it's where you.
We cannot, for example, we need specific folder that I don't.
Yes, you can.
This we can maybe
Okay. You know where your mobile exam is installed. I need to. Yeah, it's
talking to download.
fine, but it should be C, right? C only. C, okay.
File programs.
This one.
File programs.
I think.
No, but we didn't have to pay a chance.
Put it down that file again. Just try. No. Leave no,
The name of the file.
okay. That's and Let me see what it is. Yeah. Yeah, let's get back to this later. Yeah, in a break. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that's better. Okay, I saw there's a problem for a few people with the accessing their actual data on the Windows laptop using the mobile XTerm. I think it's because the mobile XTerm creates kind of like a virtual environment, like a virtual environment for you to upload and download data. So it's not, so if you type PWD, so it shows you like your current working path, but it's not where it's at actually. So which is different from the macOS, because macOS is already a Unix-like system. So you can just use the actual system. But for the mobile XTerm, it creates a fake one for you. So yeah, but yeah, I think during the break, I'll try to make it work for the people that's not working right now. Okay. Okay, before we go to the break, I'll talk about one more command. So the other way that we can upload and download data is called the SFTP, so which stands for SSH File Transfer Protocol. So the syntax is a little bit different in that the SFTP, so you only put SFTP and with your Hoffman to username, and it will open up a new shell for you to work with. Okay, maybe it's easier if I also show it. Oh, okay, I'm connected. Yeah, so you see, if you type in the SFTP and your username and address to Hoffman 2 account, it will open up a shell that looks very similar to a regular shell that you're working with. Yeah, so see, so that's the regular shell. You see a lot of colorful files because the shell has some color schemes pre-installed for you. So for example, the folders will become blue here. However, when this type of special transfer shell that you open, nothing will be colored. And you can use the ls and cd command as we use in the regular shell. So if you do ls, it will show you all the files you have in your home directory. You can do cd and go into the like different directories within your home directory. So, however, there are two additional commands that you can use in the like in this SFTP shell. It's called ls and lcd, which stands for local list and local change directory. So if you do ls, yeah, let's see what else does, right? So ls lists out all of the files on your Hoffman. If you do ls, you will list out all of the files in your local directory. And the LCD, so yeah, for example, I have this Anaconda directory on my Mac book. If you do LCD and Anaconda 3, you will actually go into that Anaconda 3 and see things inside. So this shell is special where you can see both the files on Hoffman 2 and also see files on your local directory. So in order to transfer files between these two environments or platforms, we have these three, well, essentially we have these two commands. So we can get. So when you put get and file name, you download the files from the Hoffman2 cluster to your local directory. So for example, LCD. Okay, so on my local directory, there's nothing, right? There's just the download folder, and so which is the same as your MacBook. Yeah, let's try what I want to download. I have too many files here. Okay, I have a file called ls test, like test PDF, right? If I want to download that, I just do get test PDF, and now it's already downloaded to my laptop. And the way that you find it is if you run the pwd, which stands for the current working directory, right? But you can also run lpwd, which is your local current working directory. The current working directory is users, my username here. So if you go to your if you go to your user name, yeah, you can see I already downloaded that file to your local computer. And to upload file, you type put. So the put means you put file that's on your local computer to the Hoffman2 cluster. So you can do what's here? I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a lot of file here to put, but okay, that's okay. Okay, so right now I'm in a different folder on Hoffman2 account. So if I put the test PDF file that I just downloaded from the Hoffman2 and I run it, and if we go to the Hoffman2 cluster, we see I have this actual file called test.pdf there. Yeah, so this way you can, so this is another way that you can work with the file downloading and uploading. And the way that you exit the file, exit the shell is to just type by 3 characters and you're out of the shell. Okay. Yeah, so to log out the Hoffman2 cluster, remember we use exit or log out, right? But for this type of SFTP shell, you use the by commands. Okay, any questions so far? I feel like it's a lot of materials. So let's get into a break so that people can also work on examples at the same time, right? Let's do a 10-minute break. So we can have both a water break as well as typing on the example. Let's try to figure out this. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. It's just a warning. Yeah. So any warning is fine. Like warning is okay.
Okay. Thank you. And then what is the difference? Like I know we just learned how to download.
Yeah.
What is the difference between this download versus the one we
Just different ways.
Oh, okay.
Just different ways. There's no real difference.
Okay.
Yeah. This one's more interactive. Say you can navigate through the file and find it, but for that one you need to know the path beforehand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine uploaded to my thing.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I need to use a laptop that's in English so that I can work with it.
Yeah, I need to ask a question about SAS.
Oh, well, SAS, okay. Are you also here for file SAS? Oh, okay. Oh, I see. But they don't take SAS.
They don't.
Yeah, it's like for the file size to get specific.
Oh, I wish I had learned.
Yeah. I think R is more popular.
Yeah. No, for example, I have some of the things that you have to load the file, right?
Yeah.
To download, but here, the different file or
That's great. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Using my computer.
Okay.
I think I do that for the same thing.
No, yeah, I think that's related to the something that I was saying. This is the file. That's really. That's oh, here it is. Here it is. Great. Okay, so this one is great. Okay, now you will come file and so you need to run SFTP first. Yeah. And open to like say that. Okay. You could download the file. You want to upload?
Yes, want to upload, but this
Yeah,
file
yeah, but there's
should my, half my account.
nice.
That's the-
Yes. Okay, so there's
But it should be like the base value that I need to computer.
yeah, it's a little bit different. You check download first and see where it goes. And get a file.
My third one would be this one.
Okay, yeah, then download something. See, okay, that's best. Yeah, because if you are using Mac OS, it's Yes. Yes, yes. Give me 1 minute. No, 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 I think there's way. Yeah, just give me 1 second. I follow her. Yeah, because her laptop is in English. I use and for her. We use the mobile accent because there's a see other language that. Are you on mobile?
I won't get it back for this.
What?
I'll get that.
I'll get back, so you're not on mobile accent.
But I do present it, I think.
Well, but do we have direct access to the files on the laptop
In like.
from the feedback?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay, yeah,
yeah,
because
like
in
when-
mobile accent, I think it creates a virtual environment for them, so it's not really there.
I will say that when I set this up, I set it up so that it also automatically opens up into a Conda. So, and so like, I know, I vaguely remember like changing whatever the path,
Yeah,
environment,
Yeah, yeah.
like that, but let me see, because I do believe that I have one extra. Yeah. So. Do you just need a PC with no extra?
Yeah.
Because you can use.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
there
yeah.
you go, perfect.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah, I just want to try it out.
Okay.
But do you have access to your data on your laptop?
No, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Okay, okay, that's good, because then you all have this, I think I have to try this. So we.
So right now, it's pretty everything the virtual environment, which is why, so I'm trying to find the files that I made.
Yeah, it's virtual, but it's still in your laptop. It's somewhere it's somewhere where you install the mobile server. They create a subfolder.
Oh.
Yeah,
I was trying to find it in that file, but it's coming up.
yeah. Oh, okay. You have it.
You're using Windows for Unix.
Yeah.
Web interface is proposed that you transfer files.
Yeah.
Versus like,
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about some practical things later as well.
If you're looking for where I put, where
No,
I.
it's where. Sorry.
No, you're good, no problem.
You see where it is?
Wasn't. I wasn't sure where the launch folder was, because
Oh, okay.
this is where um, I put all the files for Nova Extern in here.
Mhm.
So this is where the application, I think, is running from.
Yeah, but I just changed it to the download folder.
Oh, to the download folder?
Yeah, I just changed it.
Oh, my documents. Um. Oh,
Oh, maybe. If I create something, see if I create something. Oh, why do I? No. Is there a place that you really store?
For,
Like maybe for download or something?
for, I think it is this.
Okay, I'm trying that.
Yeah.
You go to that folder that. It's not OneDrive.
Yeah, I think it might have still saved it.
It is.
I think so. You said.
It's user, name, document, slash, not OneDrive. Okay, this PC of the country. User, it's the other one. This one? Yes, it's,
Oh, it ended in the bin. It's probably.
yes. Oh, so you go to that page, slash, user.
Okay, this was maybe. Well, it's all good. Yeah.
Document. How do you search by password of the folder?
So I usually just. Here.
Oh, that's your.
I think so.
It looks like. Oh, now we have that. Yeah, okay, so it's
Okay.
here.
So
Okay,
now
so
it's saving to.
So now it's saving, yeah, I thought, okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, nice, okay, that's perfect. Okay, we're so good. I'll try this. Oh, okay.
You need to.
No, let me think. Okay, so everyone, so for the one that was having trouble accessing the actual files on their laptop, so the way that is so if we go to the setting, okay, so yeah, I feel like it's UI, yeah, okay. So go go to the setting, and if we set the home directory, set somewhere on your laptop that you usually save. Do you have a like place that you usually save? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay, so that's where you usually save your data. Okay, so click OK, real name. Yeah, yeah, and then start a new terminal. And you do that. Okay, so if you, I guess, like, like create a new file. If you go to your folder, you should be able to see a new file there. The I think you're searching within the founders, right? What place it in the founder? No. Go to that setting. Yeah, I know. I open up this one. Yeah, where it is. Okay. So it's in OneDrive. Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's go to that place. Yeah, that one. Okay, that one. Okay. So you see the file. Okay. Yeah. So if you put things here and then you can upload and download. Cool. Okay. So yeah, for you, so we run on the right track, which is staying there. So we so that's where do you really store your data? Do you have space that you usually? Okay, you can also use that. It doesn't. Okay, okay, yeah, so that's speed, user, media download, etc. So we'll just put it in. And we Oh, okay, but it's busy. Oh, I see, that's users, okay. Yeah, that's users, okay. And down, okay. I see, okay. So if we create. So if we. Let's increase, attribute. No, it's by type. What does that mean?
So these are today.
Oh, today.
All of the files that were created should be on. That's when.
Yeah, for the others.
I don't know if you can put in another way.
Yeah, I know where it is. In D, okay, yeah, that's right, that's right. Right, Anywhere.
Anyway.
Anywhere, okay.
He said it's okay, but I'm trying to verify it.
Oh, it's loading parts, where is it? It may take a while. But yeah, let's wait on this. First, wait on, yeah. So we'll get back to this. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's get back to this. But has everyone tried the example here? Try to get and put files? Yeah, does anyone have questions? No? Okay, so if not, okay. So we'll get to some easier part. So we can actually also use some graphical user interface tools to download and upload, which may make the download and upload easier because you can navigate through those file systems by click on it. So for Windows users, we can actually just use the mobile external interface to download and upload. If you look at the arrows here, so if you click that blue arrow pointing down and the blue arrow pointing up, those will help you to help you upload and download. The other files we can use, like the other tools we can use is like WinSCP or FileZilla that we can do that. For the Mac OS users, one very convenient tool that we can use to download and upload is called CyberDuck. It will always ask you to contribute some money to them, but it's free, so you don't need to just click no every time. Yeah, but yeah, it's called CyberDuck. It's very convenient. Or you can use FileZilla as well. Yeah, I use CyberDuck. It always asks me to contribute some money to them, but that I never did. Yeah. So yeah. Just Google it and then download it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe for Windows user, maybe let's try to use the mobile XM to download and upload something. And for the macOS users, I guess you can just pick one of them to download and try. Yeah. So yeah, for the CyberDuck, you need to sign in first to any platform. So here is a Hoffman tool, but if you're on campus, sometimes you have access to some other clusters. So you can, like for all of them, you can just like do it the same way. So basically you pick this SSH file transfer protocol and then put in your like the address, Hoffman tool address, username and password there. And you connect. Yeah. And once you get in, as usual, you will be at your home directory, and you can just click around to download files or upload files to there. Yeah. Okay. Let me take 5 minutes to try it. So, yeah, you can try maybe the other tools that on the slide. You can try either WinSCP or FileZilla. Let me see. Yeah, if yeah, oh wait, maybe you need to everyone okay, I'm not very familiar with that. Yeah, but you need to put as a lot of the SSH your username. That's open to the okay, now you see those two. Yeah, so you can upload and download. So if you click on something and then download or upload, you just ask you to which file. It's slightly easier. Okay. Yeah, you can drag in on top of that. Yeah, it's easier. Okay. I just I do some. So yeah, so for everything within this folder, you can upload to your Hoffman tool or account into this folder. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, you need to log in first. Okay, no, the SSH. No.
but I'm not in the hospital here.
No, you're in the SFTP folder. So it's a different protocol. No, you need to exit this shell first. Yeah, it's a your user key. Yeah. No, no. Step back to this later. Some of your mobile signals very different. Yeah, let's get back to this later. Okay, has everyone got this to work? Yeah. Okay, is it easier to use than the command line tool? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I also use this. Yeah, I rarely use those. Well, I sometimes use the SCP command, but I rarely use them to download like a large data, because sometimes if you want to download data from like online sources, they only supply your address. So that's where you want to use the command lines. But if it's within your own systems, I think this one is faster. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we talked about this yesterday. And to exit. So there are two more tips. So one is that, so for most of the commands in the Linux system, they usually have a flag called --help, or sometimes it's -h, or like --help or --h. It will open up some, like it will give you some outputs about the usage of or the function of the tool. So I can show you what I can show you here is, for example, we do ls. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, see? No. Actually, this one doesn't have. Okay, yeah, see, if we run a cp command, and if you run --help, it will show up a lot of stuff that tells you what flags are available to this command and what is the function. Oh yes, yeah, it starts from here. Okay, so the usage of the cp command, how to use it, what flags are available to it and what does each flag means. So most of the command has this or dash H. Okay, it doesn't support that here, but dash help does. And another command that we can use is man, which is short for menu. So if you put man and a name of a command, it will also opens up a new interface for you to look at the menu. So for example, man cp, it will open up. So it's a new window. So it will also shows up you how you can use this command. So for most of the commands, as long as you remember the basic usage, the basic flags that's available to you, that's enough. For the more complex one, you just need to check it every time as you use it. Yeah. And to exit this view, just press Q. Yeah, if you can try it, open it. So other than Q, it wouldn't work. You just need to press Q, and Q stands for quit, right? So Q, and then you get out. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So if there's no questions, yeah. So yeah, of course, this site shows you that there's other online source that's available to you to answer your questions. You can Google it. A lot of people ask questions on Stack Overflow, so you can pretty much find the answers to any of your questions somewhere. Okay. Let's try. Okay, let's move on to more complex stuff. Okay, so in the day one slides, we talked about some basic structures of like the file system structures in the Linux system, as well as how we can manipulate those files. So there are other tools that we can use to do some more complex file processing and like file manipulations. So we don't need a recap, we just touch them. But here's just a table, shows what command we learned. We learned so many commands already. Okay, so there's one thing that I want to introduce, which will be very I think very useful for all of you in the future when you do your own project, is you can request. So on Hoffman tool, you can submit jobs, right? You can also request interactive nodes, so you can run your analysis interactively instead of submitting a job. So to request an interactive node, the command is to run this QRSH, and the -L stands for requesting a certain type of resources. And so right after the -L flag, you just input what specific resources that you want to request. So you want to request, and you can specify the time, that's runtime, or you can specify the amount of memories that you want to request, and separate those with comma. Yeah, but we're not gonna need this for today, but just in the future, if you want to request any interactive nodes, you should run QRSH-L. If you don't add anything, just run QRSH. It also works. It will just request a 2-hour of interactive node for you with 1 gigs of memory. Okay? If you want to specify like it differently, then you can do it. Yeah, we already have this, so it's fine. Okay, so there are some more commands that we are going to use, And the way there are a few different ways that we can do file processing. One is that we want to know how we can look at the contents of the file and also merge the file if we have multiple. We want to know how to sort the file. And we're also going to learn a special function called redirect or pipeline. So you'll know what it does later. And there's other command line tools. Okay, so there are different ways that we can look at the file, and they all performs like their behaviors are different, but they all opens up the content of a file. So the first one is called cat. So we all learned about cat yesterday, right? So what does cat do? Like what does cat do from what we learned yesterday? Yeah, to open up the entire content. Yes. So that's one way. It's also, as we mentioned yesterday, it's not suitable for very big files, because say, for example, the sequencing files, it could be hundreds of gigabytes. You can overflow your computer. So yeah, but the syntax we already learned. We can also use yeah, let's get to this. Yeah, we can also use cat to merge files. So instead of putting one input, we can do two inputs. Then the cat will concatenate it. Yeah, remember cat stands for concatenation. So the cat will concatenate the contents of the two files together and prints that concatenated version to your screen. Yeah. So these two files are in the day2 folder. So I think we can navigate to the day2 folder and try the example here. For this example, we can okay, yeah. So besides the cat command, there are so I think other commands are more suitable to look at the content of file. So and the first is more, the more command. So the more just kind of opens up the content of file in a different screen. The syntax is more plus the file name. Okay, so yeah, if you do more plus the file name, like what I do here, it will just also print out here. But if it's more than this, I don't think I have a good example here. Yeah, see, if it's more than like what can be fit into one screen, it will open up this view. And if you press like say space, you can navigate down. So that's how you can look at a very large files screen by screen. And it will show you what the percentage of the file that you're looking at. So yeah, so to scroll down, you can press enter. That's line by line. If you want to scroll down screen by screen, you just press space. And to exit, so we use Q the same as when we run the man commands. So we just press Q and we exit the view. Okay, can we try the example? Try to open up the AG38 dash underscore CHR file. Open up file using more. Come on. you are, so, yeah. Yeah, you are not in a QC file included folder yet. Yeah. It's PD. Yeah, you need to get into that, the folder first, and then navigate to the big folder. The second step, CD, yeah, CD, yeah. QC file. Yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, any question? Yeah. Go backwards. For this one, maybe not. Yeah, for this one, maybe not. Maybe there is. Yeah, maybe I don't know the hotkey. No. Oh, actually, yes. If you click B, it will go backwards. Yeah. Mhm. Okay, yeah. So someone asked a very good question. So to go backwards in the more commands view, you just click B. You will just go backwards, page by page. Yeah. Okay, the next one is less, which I think works pretty much the same way as more commands. It will also display the file in a page native view, so it will also be page by page. And the structure of the syntax of the command is also very similar, so it's less with the file name. However, in the less command, what I like about it is that, so yeah, if you see from here, so if I do more with the file name, and after I exit it, the part of the content will be kind of like remaining on your screen. However, if you do the less command, so first, if you open a view which is very similar to more, you can also use your arrow key to navigate down and up. So if you see here, you can use up and down key to narrow up and down. You can use F and B to navigate up and down page by page. And you can also exit the view by pressing Q. However, nothing will be remaining on your screen. So I think that looks nicer, neater. Yeah. And also in the last command, you can also do some search very efficiently. For example, yeah, if we search for, I don't know what we search. Maybe we search like some random number. You see, you can search it, and the part that match your search criteria. So yeah, by searching, so here it says you start the search with a slash, and you put the string that you want to search. So here I searched 3000. So the first match will come up. So if you hit return, the first match will come up. And if you hit small n, it will go to the next match. Hit the next match and the next match. Yeah, so you can search that. And if you hit capital N, so basically shift with small n, you can also search backwards. So search all of the strings that match your string. And you can also use the question mark with the pattern that you search. It will search backwards. So start the searching backwards. So we can do question mark 3000 hit. So I think that's already the first one. Yeah, if you hit, you can go backwards. Yeah, so I think less is the functionality of less is better. So I like less more. Okay, so yeah, let's try to run the less command. Yeah. Yeah, try to run the example here. Any questions though? Yeah, it's very useful. If you search like say search all of them 9 or something, it's very useful. Q. Yeah, great. Yeah, just Q. Yeah, you're already out. But that's the more, right? So you're testing more. Yeah. So it doesn't look like you're out, but you're out. Yeah.
Then we can do less.
You're gonna do less. Okay, so that's why I don't like more because
Yeah.
those remain on the screen. I get it. That's okay. Has everyone tried the example? Okay, so the next two commands we're talking about is how we can look at the part of the file without actually opening it. I think the scenario that you want to raise is that maybe you get a new file from your collaborators. You want to look at like what the file looks like. For example, you get a sample manifest, like a phenotype file. You want to know what column is inside. So, but you don't necessarily need to open up the whole file. So that's where you can use this head command. It's actually works very similar as like the head command in R or some other language. So it's a head with the file name and the flag we can use is -n. So where you can enter how many lines you want to specify to look at. So for example, if we do head and here, it will show up the first few lines. I don't know how many lines, maybe the first 10 lines. Yeah, the first 10 lines will show up on your screen. Then you can look at what your data looks like. And if you specify a number, say I only want to look at the first 2 lines, and you can specify -2, and then the name of the file that you want to look at. It will only show up the first 2 lines. So that's how you use the command. And the next command works exactly the samely, like exactly the same, but it shows up the last few lines from the file. Okay, so if we run the tail, see, it shows up the last 10 lines from the file. You can also specify how many lines you want to look at. Just maybe like a 4 lines, you see, and the last 4 lines shows up on your screen. Any questions? No? Okay. Okay. There are more commands that we can like for us to look at files in the compressed form. So I think many of the Linux commands are very like literal, right? So if some commands start with the Z, and it means that they are kind of targeted towards those zip files. So for example, we have the cat command, which opens up the regular text files. However, if you do zcat, then it opens up the compressed file for you. Yeah, so the command would be the similar, like would be the same. So it's zcat for the file name, .gz indicates it's a gzip file. We can also do zmore, which uses the more command to open up a zipped file. Let me give you an example. So so the file that we were looking at is called this one, the TS wave 1. So this is actually the from a cohort of Brett patients. And it's the sequencing, the first and second batch of sequencing data, and that's the sample manifest file we have. You see the individual ID. So we can compress that file with gzip. We just learned about it. So then we have this new file called .txt.gz file, right? So if you want to look at the inside of the file with the cat command, okay, so it will be random characters because now it's gzip. It's not a regular text file. If you use the cat command, it will just not be able to see the inside. However, if you use the zcat command, so then it will be the same as before. Yeah. However, what I like to use is to use the ls the last command, because this doesn't care about whether the file is gzip or not. It will just open up the content for you as you roll. So I like to use the less command. Yeah. See, we talk about the gunzip command. We can also decompress it so that I get back the old file. Okay, yeah, let's try to run the zcat and zmore command on your own laptop, even though it's less convenient than the less command. Yeah. Like for this one, I think this one doesn't have the variant information. This one just have the core information. Yeah. I think this one. So you want to see all of what um like what I think that's everything inside. Like this file doesn't contain specific data for the things. Yeah, you can switch. You can search all of the I think it's not. I think you can just search this. It will be all of them like this. Like for 20 will also show because it starts with let's say. And if there are multiple matches, you just press it and just go. Why is that weird? Okay, sure. Okay, thank you. Oh, okay, has everyone tried these examples? Nice. Okay. So the next thing I think is also quite important is that there is a special symbol in the Linux system called wildcard, and we use the star to like for that function. So the wildcard character means that it can match any character for any number of times. So for example, if you do yeah, like the example here, if you do a cat chr star, so it will match everything that starts with chr. So no matter it's chr1 10 or chr2 10, and also you can put the star at the beginning. So if you do star 10, so anything that ends with 10 will be matched. You can also put multiple stars, like say at the beginning and also at the end. Then everything that contains the 3 characters CHR consecutively will be matched. So it's a convenient way for us to work with a large amount of data. I think when it's useful is that, for example, we have the chromosome 1 for 1,000 of different samples, and they are in 1,000 different files. And if you want to extract all of those files, you can just put chr1 star, then it will match all of those files simultaneously. Yeah. Yeah, let's try these examples so that you get a feel about how to use the star, the wildcard character. Oh, yeah, and I just like I want to mention another thing is that so the star wildcard character, as I mentioned, can match any character any number of times, which include 0. So in this case, so if it's I'm doing CHR star, so if it's just CHR without anything after it will still be matched. Okay, so it's like 0 or more times. Any question? Oh. That they can't proceed with like force and stuff. Yeah, please. Maybe you want to put that out. So, okay, any questions so far? Has everyone tried it? Yeah. Okay. So okay. So another very, very useful special symbol here is called redirection. So redirection, okay, so everything on the screen here. So if we print something out, for example, we print like the like anything match, like the output from the ls commands, or maybe the head commands, like the output of the head commands. So everything that you see here are called standard out. So that's the place where standard output goes. However, sometimes we want to save those things into a file for our future use. Then we need to use this redirection symbol. Okay. So So there are two types of redirection. One is like the single greater than sign. It means to output to a file. If the file exists, it will be overwritten. If it's not, it will create this file, and the thing that you see in the standard outputs will goes into that file. Okay, and there's a double greater than sign. That means to append to the end of a file. So if it exists, it will kind of go to the end of file. If it's not there, it will be created. Okay, so so something like this. So let's say so right now the output, yeah, wait, it's here like this. Okay, so yeah, so the output right now of this hack command goes to the standard output, and it will not be saved anywhere. However, if you want to save it, you just add a single greater than sign, goes to like test, maybe like today. Okay, and we use the less commands to look at it. You can see now the output is within this file. And this file was not there before, so it's actually just created. If we want to do, say, yesterday we learned this hello world, this, so echo basically prints out that line to the screen, right? So it's also standard out. However, we can redirect the outputs of the echo commands to the test today file. Remember, like we just mentioned it, if it's already there, it will be overwritten. So if we redirect there and we look into the file, okay, so now we don't see the output of the hack commands, but this new line. However, if you don't want to overwrite your old file, you can put the double greater than sign there, and now you will have two lines of hello world there. So yeah, so that's a difference between the two types of redirection. Yeah, let's try the example here on the screen. Any questions for this one? Wait, and we'll talk about one more special symbol, and then we'll have a break, short break, 10 minutes. So when this is happening, we're going to try to control C, which will force quit the current process. But I don't know what was happening. Yeah, I'm not sure what was happening. Okay, no problem. Yeah, we'll solve that later. Yeah, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's definitely really strange. Yeah, it's weird. Oh, okay.
does he did say? Yeah, no, look at- yes, I'm sure. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Ah, here it is.
If you want to save the output of the previous file, like a previous command. Yeah. When this, yeah, it's a brand name. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, it's just a brand. There's some difference in the softwares, but the basic softwares are the same. All of the basic ones are the same. No problem. Yeah, so sometimes you run some commands, right? And you want to save the output. So you redirect to a file and you save it to a file for future use. Yeah. So if in the future you want to look at the results, because sometimes you can do some like calculations or file processing. For example, if you have a like a phenotype files, like say of like your patients, right? If you want to extract out all of the males from the file and save it into a separate file called like male only, and then yeah, so it's like yeah, if you want to do like filtering or something and you want to save the results.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a few people ask me in what scenario that the redirection is very useful. So in general, it just we want to save the outputs of a command, but more specifically, like I gave example is that, so let's say if you want to do some file processing, like file manipulation, like if you want to filter out some lines that you don't like. For example, if you have a phenotype files with both males and females, you want to separate them out and you want to split into a male only phenotype files and female only phenotype files, then that's where you can do those things and then save the outputs using the redirection symbol. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Okay, if no, we'll learn another symbol before we go into break. So the other symbol also very, very important is called pipeline. The pipeline or the pipe symbol is just this vertical thing. It kind of combines multiple commands together. The syntax would be right after one command, you put this pipe sign, and then you start writing out your second command. And then you can combine as many commands as you have, and eventually you will have some type of output. And what it does is that it will redirect the output of the first command, so the command like before this pipe sign, to the second command, so the command after the pipe sign, and so on and so forth. So and the scenario that we want to use it is that we want to make our command very efficient and like memory efficient, especially because sometimes you will have, like, let's say you have some output from the command one, but you don't need to save the output. So it's like intermediate files. So if you save it, it will take up a lot of memories or storage space. But you still need to use it for another command. So that's where you use the pipe sign. You redirect the output directly into the second command without saving those intermediate files. And at the end, only the very last kind of output like you can save it. You can either use the redirection sign or like some other tools to save the output. One example would be so we haven't learned this before. We haven't learned this yet, but just want to give an example is that, so there's a command called WC, which counts the number of lines in your file. So let's say if we want to do we don't need to write it down because we'll learn it later. So remember the head commands show you the first, like here, first 5 lines of your input. And so the output looks like this, right? So however, if you want to count how many lines were like being shown here, assuming you don't know it's 5, we can do the count number of lines. I will show you it's 5. Okay. So if we don't have the pipe sign, we may want to save the output into the file that I just mentioned, like yesterday. Okay. And we count number of lines in this file. Okay, so it's 5, right? So however, we generated these intermediate files test today. But if we use the pipe sign, we don't need to generate that intermediate file. We can just count the number of lines there. So it makes I think first it makes your workflow like neater, like more efficient, smoother. The other one just saves your storage space. Okay, any questions? Yeah. Also, let's try the example here on the screen. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is also a good example. You can open up this gzip file, and without saving this file into a new file. So without basically duplicating this file, you can check the first 10 lines of the file. Yeah, this is a good example. Because this file could be a sequencing file of some sample, which is a few hundred gigs. If you want to unzip it and save it before you check the first 10 lines, it could be another few hundred gigs taken up in your own like Hoffman tool account. Yeah. Any questions? If no, let's get into a short break up until 4, like 7 or 8 minutes. Oh, sorry. You write down this session. Yeah, so you don't need to write down. You already have it. Yeah. You already have it. Yeah, you already have it. Yeah. Simple questions tomorrow, we don't have one. Yeah. We only have half an hour left. Okay, so the next command that we're going to learn is sort. So the command is just sort. So it sort lines. It sort the whole lines in a file, and syntax is also very similar to the previous command that we learned. It sorts plus the file name, and we can add some flag to change its behavior. One flag that is very useful is to specify a key to do the sorting. So if you don't specify, it will just sort starting from the first character. And however, if you specify a column, it will sort based on that column. And you can also add a second column. So whenever it's ambiguous, it will also use the second column to determine the order of the sort. The dash T can allow you to specify a delimiter. So for example, if your file is a CSV file, like comma separated file, you can specify a comma there. If your file is separated by tabs, you can specify a tab there, so that it breaks up your file and determine where is the column that you're looking for. You can also a third flag is -n, so which just stands for numerical. By default, it will sort the file alphabetically. For example, if you have, like, say, if you have your chromosomes, like it's chromosome 1 to 23, the chromosome 10 will come right after the chromosome 1 because it's by the alphabetical order. Then 20 will come right after the chromosome 2 because it's the alphabetical order. However, if you want to sort that by the number, like from 1 to 9 and then 10 to 19, you want to add this -n flag. And the -r here just stands for reverse. So it will reverse whatever order it has. And the -u means to show only the unique lines. So sometimes after sorting, you have some lines with exactly the same contents, then only those unique lines will show up. And the -b ignores the blank lines at the start of line. So for example, some line starts with some like trailing like white spaces, and those will come to the very first because they are considered the topmost in the alphabetic order. However, if you don't want to use or treat those trailing white spaces as like not there, then you want to add this -b flag. And lastly, so normally it outputs the content. Outputs the it kind of outputs the or the sorting results to the standard output, which is your screen. However, you can also specify a file to store the result. So you can either add -o with a file name, so it kind of redirects the output into that file, or you can also use a redirection sign that we learned and redirect into that file. Yeah, let's try this. Well, maybe I can run it first so that we see what's going on. I don't know, just maybe. Yeah, some very simple file that I just created one. Yeah, so if we just do sort, see, it will sort by alphabetic order because 23 is smaller than 4 in that case. However, we can well, so in this case, it's not possible to use the -n, but I want to show if you want to sort it and you want to save it to some file called so you can do this, and the result will not print to the standard output, but it will go into that sorted file. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's try these two examples. Yes. No, he said yeah, and then That example on the screen. Yes, in the screenshot. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think we learned a little bit on the previous slide. Yeah, so that's we use the yeah. So I have to insert that into the description mode. Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't really understand, like, so what does like the kind of column two specify?
Yeah, so
Because like I understand column one, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know, you sort by column, yeah, but like,
Yeah.
what does column two do? Because that's what I.
yeah, like for example, in this example, maybe you use the first column, so the chromosome column as your column one, right? What if you have multiple chromosomes for there, for example? And in those cases, you can use the second column, like other columns, to determine what to do with those situations. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like sort by chromosome, and if they're duplicate, then.
Yeah, you sort by the second, like by position system. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and if you want to see the effects of dash n, you can just run it with and without it. You see this will be very different. So the 9 will go after the 1 if you don't have the dash n. Yeah. Any question so far? Okay, so if no, we'll move on. So the next command we actually so actually I just used it. So it's called word count. WC stands for word count. So this is, I would say, quite useful in my own experience. For example, again, if you have a phenotype file, you don't know how many samples you get in your cohort, you can just simply run the WC command to count how many lines are there. Then you'll know that information immediately. Okay, so the syntax is WC with a file name, and you can have three flags, three possible flags to choose from. So the one, so by default, okay, I will show you what it means by default. So by default, you will get three outputs. Okay, so you get three outputs. So first you get how many characters you have. You'll get so yeah, okay. So how many characters you have, which is the 16. And you'll get how many lines you have, which is 3. And you'll also get how many words you have, which is that. So by default, all three informations will be printed out. However, if you want to get very specific information, you can use those three flags. I think for me, the -L is the most useful one. I just count the lines. Usually we don't need to know how many characters are there. But there could be situations, for example, if we have a primer or something, you want to know how many nucleotides are there, you maybe want to count how many characters there. Yeah. Yeah, let's try very quickly the example here. I think for words, they just use space to determine a word. So if a word is separated by a comma or something, I don't think it will detect that. Okay, let's move on. the next part. So the next command that we're going to learn is cut. So it's also very little. Just by looking at the name, it will cut out parts of the file for you and to show like kind of extract out part of the file for you and show it up on your screen. So the syntax, so there are two ways that we can use it. One is with cut-c flag, the other one is with cut-d flag. So and you follow that with file name, your input file name. So for the second usage, you have a delimiter. You also have a field position. So basically that's which column that you want to keep. Okay, I think the second usage is more frequently used in my own experience, but we will also learn about the first one. Yeah. So the -c is the character position. So it selects only the characters within the range. So we'll learn about that later. But -d stands for delimiter. So it's either comma, tab, or some other delimiters of your interest. And the -f just stands for field position. Okay. Okay, so the cut, so in this example, as we mentioned, -c, and after -c, you specify the character position. So here's from the first character to the 10th character, and of each line, and you extract out that information and print out to the screen. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So the cut does like that operation on like every instance you can find in the file.
Every line, yes, every line, yeah.
Is there an equivalent where it's, how do you get it where it's like, oh, you know, I only wanted to do like for the line 1 and line
Oh.
5, for example?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think we'll learn about that later using a different command. So this one can operate, I would say, thinking about like on every line, like kind of vertically. Yeah, there's another command. Yeah, there's another command. You select certain lines of your choice first, and then you redirect into this one. So that's where the pipe sign comes in handy, right? Yeah. Okay, the next one we're going to learn is unique. So the unique command will extract out all of the unique lines in a file. And so if you recall, the sort command already extract out the like if you add that -u flag, it already extract out the unique lines for you. But if you don't want to sort, if you just want to extract out the unique lines, then you can use the unique command with the file name, and the -c will count, give you a count of how many times each line occurred. And the -d will do the opposite, will only show you the lines that's kind of duplicated in your file. Where that's, I think, I'm thinking about a scenario that this one can be useful. Yeah, like if you want to count how many repetitions there, yeah, definitely you would want to know. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. That's a good example. Okay, let's try to run it. Yeah, so actually let's try to combine it with the cut command and redirect the output into a unique command. Okay, any question? So on the unique command, okay. So another command that we're going to learn is called this to so if you want to compare two files and you want to find the difference between them, the command we can use is called diff, which short for difference. And the syntax would be diff with the first file that like in your comparison and the second file in your comparison. And there's also a flag that you can add to modify the behavior. So and usually I don't add any flag, but you can have -c flag that outputs with a copy content, -u flag outputs with a unified content. So a unified content would be, so to put those two files together, like with the difference indicated, and the -y command would print out the two files side by side and also show where the two files like where the two files are different. I think this one can be useful. For example, if you get a script or like a file from someone, well, or if you like, or maybe you have some file that you like you recently modified, but you don't remember where you modify it. You can compare these two files, see where the new changes are made. Or if you get a file from someone else and may like you want to compare how they modified it, you can use this tool to compare the difference. Yeah, let's try to run the diff on these two files with all three different flags and see what the difference they are. I like to use just without any flags. But there may be cases that you want to use some of the flags. Okay. Any questions? And have you tried it? So yeah, I just also run it on my end. So if you don't have any flag, so in my example, well, so yeah, if you look at the last one, so the two files looks like this. So it's just the same file, but added some tool here. So if you run it without any flag, so it will only show you the line that's different. And they will show like that different line and how it looks like in each file. I think that's already enough for me. But if you want to look at the more like details, yeah, they and so if you put in throw in those flags and you can see more details. But exactly how those different symbol means, like for example, the exclamation mark, the @ sign, the plus, like -1,3, something like that. You will need to, I think, go on to their documentation and just try to understand exactly what it means. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on this one? Okay, so the next three commands are a little bit more advanced and but also more how should I say, like more important in a way. For example, the SED command can do and also the SED command specifically can do some of the things that you were just mentioning, like selecting out certain lines before performing those row-wise like calculations. The grep can also does that from, like, for example, the example that I gave earlier was that if you want to extract out maybe all of the males from a phenotype file, the grep can be very convenient there to just take out certain lines. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we learned about this already yesterday, so we can skip that. So the scd command stands for a stream editor. So we can use that to parse and transform text. So the syntax is scd with the file name, and then we also throw in different flags with inputs to those flags to change its behavior. What it can what it can do, it can do a lot of things. It can insert text into your file. It can append, can delete, can even substitute part of your file with new strings. Can also modify file or subset a file. I think for me, subsetting and substituting are the most important function. Let me think of an example about substitutes. Like sometimes, I don't know, for example, if you have a file, maybe there's a sample name within your script and you want to change to a different sample name, you can just identify that sample name and substitute to another sample name without actually going into the file and editing the file. Yeah, and so before we do anything, so there are two facts we want to learn. One is -i. So -i means in place. So all of the changes that you make will happen in place. So will happen to that file. So normally the output will goes to standard output. So it will be printed to our screen. However, if you add this -i flag, then the original file will be modified. It can be a bad thing, but it can also save some space for you. And the -e means expression. So yeah, we'll learn about this later, but you can combine multiple expressions together by using -e. So for example, you have -e with one scd command, like enclosed in this single quotes. And if you want to have a second command, you can add -e and then a second command. So you can have multiple -e in your scd commands. Okay, so let's learn insert first. So the syntax to insert is to use scd xy. The I indicates insert, so which is the same as in the vi editor. So I stands for insert, and the pattern to be inserted. So the xy here means to insert patterns like in between the X line and Y line. So for example, this here, the scd, in this example, scd 1,2i new line, it means that to insert the like this string new line in front of the first line and also in front of the second line. No, did I explain clearly? So basically the X and Y are like means like the first line and the last line that you are going to insert this new string. So it's 1, 2 here. So before the first line and before the second line, this new line will be inserted. However, if it's 1, 3, then the first 3 lines, like every line from the 1, 2, and 3 line will be kind of a new string will be inserted in front of it. Yeah, and this expression needs to be enclosed with this single quote. Yeah. Yeah, let's try to run it. Maybe you can also change 1 and 2 to other numbers and see how like what the effects of these numbers are. Yeah. So remember that the insert is the same as the insert mode in the Vim editor. So it always adds things in front of the location that we indicate. Yeah. Has everyone tried this? Yeah. Another way we can insert is by searching a pattern in your file and insert in front of that pattern. So for example, in this case, in this example, we are searching the lines containing 3 n's consecutively, which is like all of these lines showing up on the screen. And we will insert a new line, like a string of new line in front of all of those lines that kind of matches the pattern. Yeah, let's try to run this. Okay, is it clear? So it's a line that contains 3 n's. I mean, it contains more than 3 n's, but it still contains 3 n's. And it kind of performs at the row level, so it doesn't insert in front of every n. It just insert in front of every line. Any questions? Okay. Okay. The next mode is called is append mode. So append mode essentially works the same way as the insertion, but it adds the new string right after the location you indicate. Right. So it's like yeah, in this example, you see the difference. We add the string of new line right after the first line and right after the second line. So yeah, essentially that's the only difference there. And again, we can also search patterns in the append mode and add the strings, the second pattern after every line that matches the first pattern. Okay. The next the next functionality of SCD is that we can perform a deletion. So we use the D to indicate a deletion mode, and we still use XY to indicate the lines that we want to delete. So the expression here would be we want to delete all lines in between X and Y. I actually don't know whether the second line is included. Let me try. Oh, okay. So it's the first line and the second line being deleted altogether. So which works the same way as the example that we showed before. Okay. Any questions? No. And again, we can search patterns here and delete all those lines that match the pattern. Yeah, so if you search for like n's, like then all of the lines containing n's will be deleted. I think these are like the logics are very similar, like the logic is very similar. It's just they are performing different functions on those patterns. Yeah. Okay. The next function I think is a little bit more useful is there's a substitution action that we can do. So the substitution action starts with S, which stands for substitution. And we have 2 patterns. So the first pattern is the pattern that you are trying to search for in your text. And the second pattern would be the new string that you want to use to replace the old string. So in this example, we are searching for the CHR characters in your file. And we are replacing it with what? Like, can you have a guess here? Yeah, so what this line is doing? We're substituting the CHR character from our original text to something else, what it is. Yeah, that's right. We're replacing it with an empty string. So basically we're deleting the CHR characters essentially, right? Yeah, but remember the deletion function delete the whole lines. Here we're just deleting that 3 characters from the text.
For deleting the CHR, though, why is it line 1?
Yeah, that's a good question because we're only deleting the first match from the file. The first match should be CHR1. Yeah, if you go like look into the mod CHR110, it's CHR1 space CHR1. So we are deleting the first CHR. Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah, if we want to perform the task kind of globally, we add a G at the end. I think maybe it's next slide. Yeah, we add a G at the end. So all of the CHRs in your text will be deleted essentially. Okay, I'll talk about one more slide, then that's it for today. We already went over a little bit. So we can also substitute, like instead of substituting globally, we can also specify a range of lines to work with. And by specifying a range, we can use that X, Y. So it's between, like from line X to line Y, we search for the pattern 1, and so whenever we find one, we just replace that with the pattern 2. Yeah, for example, in this screen, we are basically deleting the first 5 ends that we find from each 5 of the lines, from the first line to the 5th line. Okay, and what it mentions here, there's a special character in the Linux, it's called the $sign. The $sign indicates the end of the file. So if it's like say 1, $sign, it essentially will search all the way up to the end of the file. So it means it's basically searching globally, or you could maybe start from line 5 and all the way up until the end of the file. So yeah, so if you want to just search from a certain line to the end of the file, you can use this $sign. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Everyone can try this example, and that's it for today.